we have fun. We have fun on this show. And occasionally, though, real life intrudes. And it's hard to avoid. And I was debating even getting into this on my drive to the studio tonight, just because I thought, the show is entertainment. It's escapism. But at the same time, like, we don't get super personal about everything.
No, we normally have those talks in the green room.
We do.
Kind of stuff.
We have those talks kind of pre-show, post-show, or when we're just hanging out, and those getting on two rare times when we do hang out, which this is another firm reminder of that. But I have to keep it vague because I did not. It's not my business to share, and I certainly was not going to ask this person about it. But it's something I'm dealing with, and so basically, the day we're recording this, as of last night, one of our loved ones lost a loved one suddenly.
Yeah.
And it was a case where literally through some very standard medical testing, just rudimentary, we all have it done testing.
Right.
Something was found 1 month ago, and this man passed away last night.
Yeah.
And mid-30s, has a wife of 3 years and a 1.5-year-old son. And, when things like this happen, I tend to retreat into myself. I don't know that that's the healthiest way to deal with it. I mean, everybody deals with grief and, in their own way, but I get very... I retreat inside myself, and I get very existential, as we probably all
that's
do.
your memento mori. That's what happens to you.
I've seen that on a T-shirt. What does that mean? Memento
Mori it literally means remember you are mortal. Remember you will die.
Yes.
And that's what that is. It is a literal, especially with how close this individual was to our circle.
This is in the family.
Yeah.
This is somebody in the family.
So it is a bit of a memento mori. And, Chris, you were saying you retreat into yourself, and me, because it's not directly affecting me, and this isn't meant to hurt the person who it is affecting, I don't know how to process it, but I can say that if that person needs me, or either one of us, obviously.
For sure, yeah. And we were clear about that. I mean, you found out about this today. I found out last night.
Yeah, and it's a sledgehammer.
It is. It's one of those things, it's like, it's hard for me to reconcile. I mean, there's never, it's very rare that you can say, well, they lived a good life and it was just time and all that. It seems that...
Not with something like this.
No. Well, with most cases. Yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest, like June has been a bad month in terms of losing people. I mean, I talked about it last year on Cape 171, that I did kind of an impromptu eulogy for my Uncle Al, who passed away. And it was the week of...
the Navy man, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was in the Battleship Missouri.
Yes.
And if you want to hear that, that's at the end of Cape 171.
That was actually a really cool story that you told.
Yeah, well, I should, and I was saying I should put that as a video clip, and I probably will. So maybe this week that'll be like the throwback clip that goes up on Thursday. I'll put that out as a bit of a eulogy. And but that was something where we were finally getting together the first weekend in June for a memorial service for my aunt, who passed away in May of 2020, non-COVID related. But she'd been living with dementia for about 8 years.
Oof.
So it was a decline. It was a decline she wasn't aware of. My uncle, her service was Saturday. My uncle passed away that Wednesday, and my father's two oldest surviving siblings, and her memorial service was Saturday. His viewing was Sunday. His funeral and burial was Monday, and it was really, really heavy. June of 2019. I lost one cousin on each side, and the one cousin on my mother's side was 38. She was a year older than me, and it was a sudden thing, and it's tough to process when again it's never like, oh, so and so had enough time, but it's also one of those things where I'm sorry, and my parents hate when I say things like this because I'm not a fatalist, and I'm certainly, me, I'm not a pessimist or anything like that, but like it seems like, for almost everybody, it's going to end horribly. And I really don't mean that to be negative. It's just, you never look at somebody who has, I mean, I understand the idea of like someone passing away in their sleep, peacefully in their sleep, something like that. But it seems like there's always a decline, if not something incredibly sudden and unexpected. Or, in this case, it was literally a month.
So then my response to that would be to, as much as especially right now, it's hard to, because obviously everything's so sudden, and
it's very, very fresh.
It's very, very fresh. But that's when, and I'm not talking about this particular passing, I'm talking about you, Chris Aballo.
Mm-hmm.
Make your mark. That's why a Memento Mori is a thing. The story with Memento Mori is that when a Roman emperor would be parading back into town after a victory, he would apparently have a slave with him on the chariot, whispering in his ear those two words, Memento Mori, remember you are mortal. Because of that high that you get of obviously winning a basketball game, winning a victory or something like that, you're like, I'm invincible. And that's where the idea of that comes from. Yeah, see, there you go, Memento Mori. You see me wear that all the time. I always have. I love that phrase, and that's my mantra in a way.
I have a T-shirt, actually, that I haven't worn yet.
Yeah, it's a trope, yeah. It's a reminder of the inevitability of death. Yep. Yeah, it's all over the place. And that's where the skull and bones come from. That's where all of that. But you don't take that as a negative thing. You should take it as a positive. You should take it as a reminder to, you want everyone, including, what's the phrase? You want everyone, including the Undertaker, to cry at your funeral, because of the impact that you made.
I want nobody to cry at my funeral. I want you to celebrate me. I mean,
I know that's what I'm saying.
That's bullshit, and I know it is. That's obviously my theory. I mean, it's going to be. Knowing me, it'll be a video will, but because why not?
We're gonna have a Viking funeral. So
no, that's for you. We talked about that. That was in a reel that went up last week. Actually,
my mother actually brought that up to me. She's like,
"Did she see that?
Yeah, she saw it. She saw it. The Vikings reel.
I think she liked it on TikTok, and I was like, Andrew's mother's on TikTok.
Yeah, she is. The tree one where I talked about how
Revelation.
Where you're put into a plant in a pot. That's illegal in New Jersey so far.
The fuck?
You can't have that in Jersey. You can have a Viking funeral, so your burning body can go be deposited into the Atlantic, but you can't be turned into a tree pot.
That's fucked up. Why?
But whatever.
Why not?
Why not?
Sorry,
exactly.
no, that's
why
a whole
not?
other. Yeah. That's a whole.
Trying to bring light to this situation.
No, I know. I mean, it's frustrating to hear, unfortunately, because we're gonna have to take you to probably Florida. Anything goes in Florida. Oh, fuck. I don't want to be buried in Florida. Can I at least go to Harry Potter World? Can it be near there?
Yeah,
anyway.
Put me near Universal or something.
That's it. Yeah, somewhere. Andrews wants to be near Hogwarts. Place near
Star Wars.
His heart.
Star Wars, yeah.
Really?
Veronica, for me, Star Wars.
What if we have two pots made?
All right, fine.
Okay. We're working. Listen, I need something. We don't know what. Whatever time we get is luck. So I need something to go back to point to just be like, Andrew
sever me in twain and split my body between the Pottermores.
Drawn and quartered. That's it. But anyway, and you're right. Honestly, when things like this happen, what I do after kind of getting my head around it is I end up getting hyper focused. I mean, all the shit that doesn't matter just kind of fades into the background.
Right.
And then the things that are really important come into very, very strong focus. It sucks that it takes that reminder, but at the same time, we all have a ticking clock.
You need that slap in the face.
I did. I mean, look, I've talked more recently about, the past and the musical past and stuff like that I'm kind of that I've kind of made peace with. I'm not going to get into that too much now, but I've been more open about that recently because that was a part I kind of disconnected from, made a conscious effort to disconnect from because it was painful. But back in 2003, after the anniversary just passed when I said I saw the Yellow Mountain Custard, Beatles tribute show in New York City. And 6 months later in November, they did a Led Zeppelin tribute show, a similar lineup. Hammer of the Gods. And it was following that show that I got a call from one of my close friends from high school. We were still friends at the time. We've just drifted apart since, saying that she was effectively my first girlfriend, had passed away, who was, it was just before her 22nd birthday. Her birthday was the beginning of November. She was 21. She was going to be graduating from Boston University, I believe. I don't think it was Boston College. Pretty sure it was Boston University. They're two, right? It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
She was on the dean's list. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
everything
she
was
had her whole future ahead of her. She was going to be graduating that spring, and she didn't even make it to 22. And it was one of those things where I didn't even believe it. I was in a daze from the show was at BB King's and on 42nd Street. There used to be a Chevy's next door, so we went there after the show. That's where I got the call. I was in a daze when we left Chevy's the entire drive back home. And
were you driving?
Until no,
okay,
no,
I was going to say
no, I didn't drive into the city in those days.
Okay,
and it wasn't real until literally I went home and I saw her obituary in the paper, and it was just just became real. And what that did was, at that point I was 2.5 years into a retail job that I was just like, oh my God, it's been 2 years already. But I had just turned 22 myself, and it was one of those things where I said, what am I doing? I need to do something. I need to focus more on what it is I want to do because I'm here.
Right.
And I did, just over 6 months later, took my first trip to Los Angeles, toward the campus of Musicians Institute, and all that stuff happened, which again, had I not, who knows how things would have played out in the last 19 years had I not gone to that show in April 2003. Things like this do tend to pull things into focus. And that was actually one of the positives, as difficult of a weekend as that was last June. My extended family, all got together, and that's where I'm very lucky. I don't think I've said this enough on the show. But I'm very lucky that I have a very supportive, immediate and extended family when it comes to doing this, or when it comes to my creative endeavors. And my father is the youngest of 10. So most of my first cousins are in their 50s and 60s. Frankly, at this point, a bunch of them are retired. Now, when I have people who have had careers, raised families, are retired. I can't tell you how many of them, I probably could if I stopped to think about it, but so many of them came up to me because they've been seeing I'm doing the show, because I'm cranking out weekly videos and all of that stuff, and they see it and they're supportive. And them telling me, don't give up. You keep doing it. Don't stop. You don't know how far this thing's going to go. The right person's going to hear it. The right person's going to see it. And not that I didn't know that already, but to hear the reinforcement from somebody who's retired, who's lived most of their life, have them be like, you keep doing that. That really...
Oh, of course.
That means something to somebody who's just like, I've seen this movie already. You know what I mean? Like, you should stick this out. And like, I'm going to do it anyway. That's the whole thing. But just to hear that, to have that reinforcement is just like, yeah, I need to do whatever I want. I need to do all the things that I want to do, because I don't, this is finite. It's very easy to feel invincible, obviously, when you're in your 20s, and little things like that when you're 22 that kind of bring you back down to earth and remember, oh, right. And in a case like this where it's, here's somebody again, he's just it's hard to reconcile, just if anybody was in that position, a month ago, 5 weeks ago, this person had no idea that they were as far along with their illness as they were until they found out through very, very standard medical testing. And they woke up yesterday and today they're gone. By the time the show goes out, the service will have passed. Again, we're not going to speak about who it is, but
no, there's one quote that I do want to say from Albert Pike. What we have done for ourselves alone dies with us. What we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal.
Yes.
So make your mark.
Yeah. And, I've said it tongue in cheek many times. I did a kind of a compilation. If you go to my Instagram, right in January, I kind of did like a tribute to, Cape in 2021 with everybody involved. It wasn't just like, me jerking off for 2 minutes about how great I am. It was actually like, all the guests, especially everybody who made their debut and, all of that. The interview guests and us at the studio and, the guys from Shared Universe. And, I said in part of that, it's just like, as long as the internet exists, we're immortal. And, I know that's kind of tongue in cheek and a bit self-serving, but it also is true. It's just like, we will always be able to point to this and just be like, this is what we did. And that was even my perspective 12 years ago, to bring it back to that, when we started doing the Only Podcast. Just like, this is a moment in time.
Right.
And it's a good thing we did do it
it's
when
our
we
little,
did.
It's our little time capsule.
It is. And it will continue to be. Same as this is. We're in different places now 12 years ago than we were. We couldn't have talked about bars we would have had and, the brown liquor we would have been drinking.
Yes.
Until...
and cigars that we'd be smoking and everything else.
Yeah, speak for yourself there, Hacking Drew. So
I saved all episode. I didn't hack once this episode.
No, you didn't. You got that all out beforehand.
Yeah, exactly.
One of these days, I'm going to design a mobile game. It's going to be Hacking Drew's Quest for Breath. That's what it's going to be.
Ming.
Because...
God!
And we're ending the show with some levity. Good man. Dude, send me that gift. Please. I need that
Not
gift.
Paris Hilton.
No, it's South Park Paris Hilton. It's okay. Well, yeah, but she's coughing up like a jizz load for sure. So, see, this was going to go up on YouTube. This is where people are tuning out.
Yeah, like, exactly. And now he's just looking up random
Yeah, this is taking a turn. Yeah, this was actually kind of serious.
This
and,
pen is
these guys were showing emotion, and now... Anyway, so yeah. Make your mark. Live your life.
We have to.
And you, do it. Take care of yourself. Forgive others. Take care of everyone else. Because we don't know. I mean, it's truthfully like whatever time we get is luck. It's a strange life. But you can't have the, sweet without the bitter and all that other stuff. All those other cliches. They are cliches for a reason, but they're cliches nonetheless. So, anyway, that's that. Well, to this gentleman, we'll do a
yes.
We'll do a toast to
a salute.
This gentleman, Andrew, to your health.
Yeah.
Despite the cigars and heavy drinking.
Ming.
And
to him, to his family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And keep it's hard to say keep them in your thoughts or say a prayer or something like that because we're being ambiguous, but
tots and pears.
Excuse me?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. I know what you're saying.
Yes, I know.
It's just funnier to be like, huh?
Yeah.